Bonjour à tous. Bienvenue à la cérémonie de transfert de la chambre de fonction. Good evening, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and members of the CBA board. Tonight, we gather for the transfer of chain of office ceremony, a tradition that signifies both the closing of one chapter of leadership and the opening of another. It's more than a handover. It is a celebration of continuity, renewal, and the enduring strength of an association that has for nearly 130 years championed the legal profession and safeguarded the rule of law in Canada. And this is a particularly special ceremony, as tonight we will mark only the third time in CBA history that the chain of office will pass from one woman to another. We're holding this ceremony on the traditional territory of the peoples of Treaty 7, including the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, comprised of the Bearspaw, the Chiniki, and the Goodstoney First Nations. Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta. The CBA remains committed to advancing reconciliation and fulfilling our obligations under the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action. But this is a continuing journey, but one on which we are making meaningful progress. And I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to all our members and branches whose contributions, both great and small, are helping to move this vital work forward. It is absolutely wonderful to be here with all of you this evening. I'd like to thank our national board members, branch presidents, executive directors who've traveled from across Canada to be with us tonight. And my thanks as well to the many special guests joining us for this occasion, including members of the judiciary and the legal community in Alberta and across the country. Your presence is very much appreciated. There are too many VIPs to name, but I'll note that there are a number of CBA past presidents here with us this evening. John Stefaniak, Steve Bourgeois, Brad Reguer, the Honorable Janet Fuhrer, and the Honorable Michelle Hollins. It was an honor to follow in all of your footsteps a year ago, and it will be my honor to join your ranks as a past president in just a few minutes. For those of you wondering, the last time this chain was transferred from one woman to another, it was from Justice Hollins, who passed it to Justice Fuhrer, so it's absolutely delightful that they could join us this evening. As I noted at the outset, the CBA for well over a century has stood at the forefront of efforts to promote and defend the rule of law in Canada and to uphold the vital role of the legal profession in a free and democratic society. This mission has never been without its challenges, but in the current environment, it's both particularly demanding and profoundly important. Just a few weeks ago, we had the privilege of hosting the American Bar Association in Toronto for their annual meeting and conference, aptly titled The Rule of Law Rising. It was in many ways a surreal experience. Colleagues like us, who had spent their entire careers free from the fear of political interference or retaliation, were suddenly cautioning us not to take the independence of our courts and our profession for granted. Of course, we've always known this. We've always understood that the rule of law isn't self-sustaining. Hence, it's the CBA's raison d'etre. Yet today, the risk of the rule of law's erosion feels sharper, more immediate, and less theoretical than it once did. In such a moment, strong and principled leadership is essential. And that's why it gives me such pride to pass along this somewhat unwieldy yet deeply symbolic chain of office to Bianca Kratt. It's been a privilege to work with Bianca in her role as Vice President this year. She's driven, she's hardworking, and she has a unique perspective on Canada and Canadian law, having built a successful commercial real estate practice here in Calgary, serving clients in both official languages, while remaining connected to her roots in small-town Quebec and as a proud member of the Wendat First Nation. Bianca's involvement with and commitment to the CBA is extensive. In recent years, she was president of our Alberta branch. She was chair of our National Finance Committee, and Bianca served as the CBA's nominee to the Independent Advisory Board for Supreme Court appointments in 2023. Bianca takes on this leadership of our association at a challenging moment. Yet throughout her career, she has consistently risen to meet challenging moments with determination and vision. I have every confidence that Bianca will serve with distinction and lead our association with excellence, inspiring all of us along the way. Bianca Kratt is the leader that we need in this moment. Bianca, je te souhaite une année pleine de réussite. C'était un plaisir pour moi de servir à tes côtés. I will now invite our new CBA president to join me on stage, along with CBA board member Kelly McDermott and incoming vice president Lorelei Cheke for the transfer of the chain. In welcoming our new president, Bianca Kratt.
Quoi? Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Lynn, for the kind introduction. I want to take a moment to say that your leadership this year has been exactly what our profession and our association needed. This year, you reminded Canadians that the law isn't something abstract. It's a living system that depends on the trust and involvement of everyone. And you've inspired us to raise our voices as defenders of justice and democracy. It was quite a year, but our association was fortunate to have you in the lead. So merci beaucoup pour tout ce que tu as fait, Lynn. Merci. Merci tout le monde d'être ici ce soir. Il s'agit d'un immense honneur pour moi de commencer mon mandat à la présidence de l'Association du barreau canadien, ici, à Calgary, chez moi. Avant de commencer avec un peu de mon histoire, je voulais vous faire part de certaines données. I'm actually the 97th national president of the Canadian Bar Association and the 11th woman to serve in the role. 10 years ago, the national president was Michelle Hollins, now Justice Hollins, who's with us tonight. Today, I'm proud to bring the presidency back to Alberta, and I believe that's something we can all celebrate together. I feel so privileged to be standing in front of you tonight and to be wearing the chain of office for the first time. To be honest, this is a dream come true, especially that the path that brought me here has been full of growth, full of surprises, full of great challenges that have shaped who I am. I wasn't born in the legal world. I grew up in a very small town in Quebec called Saint-Raymond-de-Portneuf, and I was raised in the heart of the countryside. My family has a long history as private guides, serving fishing and hunting clubs, while also guiding those who sought to explore Quebec's lakes and forests. From a young age, my parents, who were teachers, taught me the value of hard work and community. I'm so proud of my Huron-Wendat roots and all the teachings that my parents have given me. In my early 20s, a language exchange to Regina, Saskatchewan, opened my eyes to a world beyond my small hometown. And meeting my now husband, Dan, here with us tonight, in Regina, truly changed my life in ways that I could have never imagined. I made the decision to leave my family and move across the country. Ça n'a vraiment pas été facile. J'ai dû accepter l'éloignement de ma culture d'origine, apprendre une deuxième langue, retourner aux études, me faire de nouveaux amis, me frayer un chemin parmi les grands. De la détermination et du courage, il y en a fallu vraiment. Those early challenges forged the resilience that has carried me forward ever since. And the Canadian Bar Association played a very important role in that journey. L'ABC, ça a été l'un des tout premiers endroits où j'ai senti que j'avais véritablement ma place dans la profession. L'ABC m'a mise en contact avec des mentors et des collègues qui ont cru en moi avant même parfois que je croie en moi-même. L'ABC m'a donné la confiance nécessaire pour m'engager, pour m'exprimer et devenir une meilleure leader. Standing here today means everything to me. It's not just about where I am. It's about where I came from. It's about the journey, the setbacks, and the people who helped me rise. And it's about a belief I hold deeply, that every lawyer, especially every woman who has ever felt unseen or underestimated, deserves a profession that supports them, that values them, and lifts them up. And that belief fuels my vision for the year ahead. Devant les défis de notre profession, je ressens vraiment une profonde détermination de diriger avec clarté, de redonner à la communauté qui m'a fait grandir et rassembler notre profession autour d'un objectif commun. That's why for the next year as CBA president, I want to focus on a simple but urgent task, building a resilient legal profession. Resilient isn't just about bouncing back. It's about anticipating new challenges and meeting them with courage and integrity. It's about staying grounded in our values, even when the ground around us is shifting. It's about being prepared and united, especially when the pressures mount. Et ceci est maintenant plus important que jamais. À un moment où nos institutions démocratiques et la souveraineté même de notre pays sont soumises à une pression croissante, notre profession doit faire preuve de résilience. Over the next 12 months, I will focus on 4 aspects of resilience that I believe are essential to strengthening our profession, our justice system, and the trust that Canadians place in both. First, a resilient profession needs a resilient justice system. And that starts by giving our courts the resources they need to do their work. La justice est une pierre angulaire de notre démocratie et notre souveraineté et de notre stabilité économique. Et quand elle est fragilisée, c'est toute notre capacité à faire respecter les droits de chacun qui en souffre. The CBA will keep pushing governments to reduce court delays, to protect judicial independence, And remember that a well-resourced justice system is not a luxury. It's a core element of our democracy. Second, we will support lawyers to lead through change. New technologies and rising expectations mean that we can't stand still. To lead in uncertain times, lawyers need to embrace innovations and continuous learning while maintaining strong ethics. For example, the CBA is launching a national AI action plan with training and support for small firms and tools to ensure that AI is used responsibly and in service of access to justice. Third, we will build bridges to reinforce public trust. Je crois que si les citoyens comprennent mieux leurs droits et nos institutions, ils vont avoir davantage confiance dans notre système de justice. Donc, c'est pour ça que nous devons continuer à contrer la désinformation et à faire connaître concrètement la valeur de notre système. The CBA cannot assume that everyone cherishes the rule of law as we do. We must continually demonstrate its relevance to Canadians. Finally, resilience means inclusion. Our profession is more resilient when it reflects the diversity of those it serves. And that means breaking down systemic barriers, especially for women. Cette année, je veux vraiment amplifier la voix des femmes dans la profession, mettre en lumière des parcours inspirants et montrer que s'épanouir comme femme en droit, ça devrait être la norme et non pas l'exception. In many ways, this moment, right here, right now, feels unreal, but it also feels just right. I started my career unsure of where I belong. And today, I stand before you with a deep sense of purpose and with gratitude for the people who helped me get here and with determination to return the favor. Merci à tous ceux et celles qui m'ont soutenu au fil des années. Thank you to all of you for your support over the years. And thank you, Dan, for your love and your constant support with all the energy I have. Let me end with this. Lawyers are facing challenges in Canada and elsewhere, but we're not facing them alone. When we support each other and we lead with courage and conviction, no challenge is too daunting. So let's rise to this moment. Let's lead the way. And let's build a legal profession that is strong, that is resilient, and truly worthy of the society we serve. Thank you. Merci. Onen.